You know, epic, just epic, just epic, just epic. I'm going to clap my hands. As a matter of fact, I'm going to give a standing ovation. Everybody says, Pastor Dow, what in the world are you doing? What you got going on? I know you got something you want to tell us. Well, two things here. I was listening to Jay Snip 4, right? And he, like I, have been thinking a lot lately about the same things pretty much. You know, we know that silver is manipulated on an unprecedented scale and level. We know that. Everybody knows that. And when you get Nancy Grace coming out, and at first this guy pays somebody for a hit on somebody in silver bullion, and rather than covering the story about this guy having murder in his heart to go and destroy and eradicate someone off the face of planet Earth, she makes the issue about silver bullion. So you mean to people, hey, come on, people, you mean to tell me that the New World Order is not entrenched, not trying to do whatever it can to use every avenue, every way possible to use propaganda to get you to not see what's going on? Well, anyway, breaking news. Had a guy in China, finance guy to the central banks, put the bug in the ear of the country. We need to start holding silver bullion in our reserves. I had to stop the video. I said, whoa. I said, there it is right there. There it is. You know, Eric Sprott is the owner of the PSLV. And he's been trying to tell people for a long, long time. See, we are small fries. You know, Pastor Dow, I don't have deep pockets. And the majority of people that listen to me, they don't have deep pockets either. They may think they have deep pockets, but they don't have deep pockets. Deep pockets is when you start dealing in the billions. That's deep pockets. Very deep. And Eric Sprott has been buying silver, I mean, on an unprecedented scale, but the deal with him is it's backed up. You see, this GLD and this SLV is backed up by nothing but by paper. So you hear people investing into that. It's the same old scheme as Treasury, T-bills, the whole 9 yards. It's all paper, and they're going to lose. They're going to lose every end. But when you start getting China to think like Eric Sprott, see, Eric Sprott is trying to bring in some deep pockets into buying up all the silver. And Pastor Dow personally believes that what's going to jack the silver price to the moon is when you get all these major players who understand economics. When they start, everybody quick to say this is an industrial metal, but they do not want to say it's money. Even though it's been money for over 6,000 years, nobody wants to say it's money. Oh, it's an industrial metal. It's just industrial metal. But you know what? I still think it's money, regardless of what the fiat Ponzi currency scheme says. But Eric Sprott has been trying to pull in and get people to understand the fundamentals of the economics of investing. That's what he's been trying to do. And he's been getting the deep pockets into this. I mean deep pockets into investing in the silver. But when you get central banks from countries, sovereign countries like China, starting to tell their people that they need to actually start stacking silver in their central banks, that's your green light go right there for silver to the moon. Right there. And we're talking about volatility like you've never seen it before. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, possibly $50 jumps in one day. The ideal is to take all the silver that you can off the market so that when people need it, they have to pay your price to come and get it. I think that Jay Snip 4 is right on point with this story. I really do. I'm going to include his link down below right here. You need to go check out what he says because he's telling the truth. And then he talks about self-education, which I believe in greatly. You see, I didn't come to the conclusions of what I believe about the Most High because I sit down and continue to keep regurgitating and rehashing the lies that all these religions in the world put out. I did my own independent research. I went and researched and I studied it for myself. You know, and that is not common today. Most people don't do that. Most people don't think independently today. But I figured since I have a little bit of intelligence to where I can know what sound money is, I figured, you know what, a long time ago, before I knew what sound money was, I figured that, you know what, I'll start reading this thing for myself. You know what I mean? This thing right here, the Bible, what people call the good book. And I'll take it subject by subject and see what it has to say as opposed to what religion has to say. And you know what? I guarantee I can come to the truth. And you know what? I've come to the truth. And I found out that people love lies. Just like people love dollars. They love dollars over this. But it's getting ready to stop. All this mess is getting ready to come to a screeching halt. Now, I'm looking at a video in here. And I want y'all to listen to me. It said that the feds expanded their balance sheet by over $1 trillion in the last 8 months. Where was the news at on this? How come we didn't know? Well, we did know. We told you that they're doing this quantitative easing, but they're doing it a different way. They're doing it so it cannot be reported. And now I'm looking at a video right here of professional snake dancing, tap dancing, boot licking liars. I mean, people, they just said, right, all this is just what I call a circus, a dog and pony show. That's all these people doing. They're getting up here grandstanding in front of the cameras. And you notice, they ain't going to tell you nothing, Congress, because you just as wicked as they are. All this is an appeasement. These people are masquerading. Are you following me? They're masquerading in front of the general public because they know the general populace don't know nothing. They know you don't know nothing. But this headline says $9 trillion missing from the Federal Reserve. I want you to listen for a second. I'm going to turn this up for a second. I want you to listen for a second as we listen to these professional lies. Watch how these snake dance and tap dance around us. Listen to this.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Inspector Coleman, you're the Inspector General for the Federal Reserve, right?
Okay. That's correct.
Have you done any investigations concerning the Federal Reserve's role in deciding not to save Lehman Brothers, which led to shockwaves that went through the entire financial system?
In that particular area, I don't generally comment on specific investigations, but we do not currently have an investigation in that particular area.
In other words, no, we have not looked into it. People robbed the bank, they busted the bank, and they got away, and we're part of the scheme. But no, that's the reason why we haven't done any investigation. And another reason why we ain't done the investigation, because you know why? We can steal money from customers' account, and there's no law against it, so therefore we're not breaking the law. Woo! Anyway, listen.
All right, what about the $1 trillion plus in expansion of the Federal Reserve's balance sheet since last September? Have you conducted any investigations regarding that?
Right now we have a, we call it a review.
No, hold, time out. He's not asking about a review. He's asking about an investigation. Have you conducted an investigation? And of course, what does she do? See, these people are professional liars. And she gonna he gonna ask a question about an investigation. She gonna give him an answer about a review. Listen as this thing develops. Watch this now. Watch this.
So if you, the term investigation may have different connotations. So we're actually conducting a fairly high-level review of the various lending facilities collectively, which would include the TALF, a variety of the different programs that are in process. So we're looking at them at a fairly high level to identify risk.
Man, she sounds just like Ben Shalom Bernanke. She sounds like Alan Greenspan. They all sound like they all been to the same school because they all believe the same doctrine. You can pretty much tell what people believe by listening to them. Listen to her. I mean, you people, I'm trying my best to get you to see what liars are. And what professional liars are, especially when you're guilty. Especially when you're guilty. But you have to understand, brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen, citizens of the world, yes sir, yes ma'am, you are dealing with a corrupt, make-believe, it's like we're in the Matrix, liars. The whole system is a lie. Everything you have been taught, you went to fool, not school, you went to fool, and they schooled you in theology. I don't know whether to I don't know whether to laugh or cry, but it is a crying shame that there's nobody. The whole world is wicked. The whole world is under the seed of corruption. And there's nobody with enough authority and enough power to actually stop all this mess. No wonder people around the world calling for armed revolution. Because as long as you just talking with these people with words, you can't expect the devil to do right. A devil is not going to do right. Do you understand that? It has a nature. It's just like an antler. Surely an adder will bite without any enchantment. Do you understand why? Because that is the adder's nature. Do you understand? And it is these people's nature to be liars, deceivers, fraud, bunch of just living on fraud and treachery. Do you understand that? These are the real terrorists right here. And what is her name? Inspector General Elizabeth Coleman. Let's see what she got to say, right? Listen to this more professional line.
Well, I understand that, but we're talking about events that started unfolding 8 months ago. Have you reached any conclusions about the Fed expanding its balance sheet by over $1 trillion since last September?
We have not yet reached any conclusions.
Do you know who...
What do you mean you ain't reached no conclusion? Wait, how is it that if there's going to be quantitative easing number 3 and 4, how is it that we don't know about it, since only thing that they're doing, and I'm going to speak in terms that even a lay people can understand. Listen, every time your government goes to the Federal Reserve, and there's nothing federal about them at all, the Federal Reserve is just about as federal as Federal Express, who just got finished delivering me a package. It's just a name. Are you following me? They have nothing to do with the government. They're totally separate, totally independent financial institutions. And you control countries by controlling the money supply. And these people right here are definitely outside of the box. I promise you that. I promise you that. But these people right here, it's amazing how that they expanded the balance of the feds by $1 trillion, and we didn't know nothing about it. We didn't hear anything about it. Nothing. Zero, zilch, nada. What they're doing, people, is they're passing. Every time they print money, they pass it on to you and your children. We're past debt being passed on to us. We're past the bill being footed to us. The bill is now gone to past even our grandchildren. The bill is footed to the great-great-great-grandchildren. That's how far down the road that these people have kicked the can of debt. Y'all get ready for a greater level and a greater expansion of indentured servitude, because that's exactly where we're headed in this country. We're already there. It's just that you don't understand, but we're already there. More professionalized. Let's get back to this. Listen to this.
Receive that money.
We're in the process right now of doing our review, and
right, but you're the Inspector General. My question to you specifically is, do you know who received that $1 trillion plus that the Fed extended and put on its balance sheet since last September? Do you know the identity of the recipients?
I do not know. We have not looked at that specific area at this particular point on those reviews. And
what about Bloomberg's report that there are trillions of dollars in off-balance sheets transactions that the Federal Reserve has entered into since last September? Are you familiar with those off-balance sheet transactions?
You know, I think it may be important at this point, too, just to bring up a certain aspect related to our jurisdiction. And just to clarify perhaps some of my earlier comments. We are the Inspector General for the Board of Governors, and we have direct oversight over board programs and operations, and are also able to look at board delegated functions to the reserve banks, as well as the board's oversight and supervision of the reserve.
Hold on, let's cut the crap. Let me go ahead and interpret what she's saying. In other words, the Federal Reserve System. Are you listening to me? In other words, they are a regulatory body by themselves. They are not under any laws, and nor are they subject to any laws by any country in this world, including America. And so basically, We are serfs to them. They can do whatever they want, whenever they want, and they ain't got to answer to Congress. They don't have to answer to the American people. They ain't got to answer to no country. They ain't got to answer to nobody. And that's why I'm clarifying my position to you right now in case you don't understand, sir. I'm telling you, I don't know whether to laugh or cry. Let's go back to this. I might have to read between the lines some more here for this professional lie. Listen to this.
Thanks. We do not have jurisdiction to directly go out and audit Reserve Bank activities.
What did I tell you? They don't have no jurisdiction against the Fed. Hands off! Hands off! Carte blanche! Diplomatic immunity. I told you. And you gotta understand, I have just pulled this video up since making this video. I haven't watched this thing yet. I'm interested to see what's getting ready to go on. Let's look at this thing again. Watch this. Watch this now. Watch this.
Specifically. Nevertheless, in our lending facilities project, for example, we are looking at the board's oversight over the program and to the extent that extends out to the Federal Reserve Bank of New York.
Well, I have a copy of the Inspector General Act here in front of me, and it says, among other things, that it's your responsibility to conduct and supervise audits and investigations relating to the programs and operations of your agency.
That's correct.
So I'm asking you if your agency has, in fact, according to Bloomberg, extended $9 trillion in credit, which, by the way, works out to $30,000 for every single man, woman, and child in this country. I'd like to know if you're not responsible for investigating that.
Translation, interpretation. In other words, $9 trillion is dust in the wind. Nobody knows where it's at. But I do know this. I know that this translates to you or whoever it may be, this invisible person behind the proverbial curtain on somebody traveling down the yellow brick road from the Wizard of Oz. Somebody has just saddled the American people, every man, woman, and child, with another $30,000 of debt. In other words, everybody live in America. You have just expanded your debt without your knowledge another $30,000. And by their admission, you better get your rear end out there and get to work and pay it. I keep trying to tell us. I know, I have to be comical. I have to actually laugh about this because it is that comical. It's funny. It is because, oh, mercy. Oh, mercy. Oh, mercy. Am I going mad? Am I going insane? Is that something wrong with me? Is that something wrong with J. Snip 4? Is that something wrong with SGT Bull? Huh? Man, I can't believe this. Anyway, I was going to say something, but I'm going to hold it for a second. Let's go back to this. Let's go back to this because this is off the chain. This is literally off the chain. Man.
Who is?
We have responsibility for the Federal Reserve's programs and operations audits, to conduct audits and investigations in that area. In terms of who's responsible for investigating, would you mind repeating the question one more time?
What?
In other words, I'm searching for words to give to this TV camera to keep people off balance so they can't discern what I'm saying because I've lost track of the lie I was getting ready to articulate in front of you. So I need you to repeat the question again so I can pick back up again with the lie that I'm telling everybody. Hey, you know what? You got to be impressed with the way that these people, these deceivers, the way they manipulate and move words around and an everyday person, common person, they will have no idea what these people are saying whatsoever at all. None whatsoever at all. I tell you what, They already, you know, every person in the United States of America is already in debt over $100,000 apiece, and they just tacked on another $30,000 to your debt, to you, your children, your grandchildren, your great-grandchildren, your great-great-grandchildren, and your great-great-great-grandchildren, whether you like it or not. And there's no way. And you need to stop living on an illusion that this debt is ever going to be paid back, because it's not. We're going to default. Get ready for war. Get ready for world war. Get ready for, what if somebody owed you $100,000 and they just walk up to you one day and says, you know what, I know I owe you $100,000, but I don't have it, and I never am going to get it, and I'm never going to pay you. What would be your attitude? See, the United States of America, if somebody does that to them, you know it's an act of war, right? You do know that all this dog and pony show over in the Middle East has nothing to do with somebody terrorizing the United States of America. It has to do with the oil and the wine. Did you hear me? It has to do with resources. It has to do with silver and gold. It has to do with us empire building. And all these other side shows about these dictators and all this other stuff. Don't tell me about Assad and Syria and that stuff. The only reason why America is over there because we're fighting in wars for Zionist Israelis. That's what we're doing. That's the naked truth. Go back and look at there's maps all over the internet showing you the actual Zionist occupation of that state called Israel in the land of Palestine. There's a literal genocide going on, just like it's been happening in the Congo in Africa. There's a genocide going on. But everybody wants you to remember the Holocaust, but don't remember the transatlantic slave trade. They want you to remember the Holocaust, but keep sweeping under the rug all the resources that are being stolen from Africa. They want you to remember everything. Hey, you name me. Who's the threat? Who's the threat to America right now, Where is Osama bin Laden? Oh, Pastor, you didn't hear it? You didn't hear it? We took him out to sea. We got him. We took him out to sea. And then all of a sudden, a SEAL team gets shot out of the sky. Professional soldiers, some of the best in the world. The same team that so-called got Osama bin Laden is shot down. Are you beginning to wonder if we got freedom of speech or not? Because surely these psychopaths think we are dumber than they are. They actually think that they can get up here in front of this camera and lie to us, and we're going to believe it. This thing is almost over, but let me get on with this. Before I start going off into many digressions, which I want to try to stay the course, because I'm already at 23 minutes on this video. I didn't even intend for it to be this long, but let's go on.
What have you done to investigate the off-balance sheet transactions conducted by the Federal Reserve?
Nothing, hardhead!
Bloomberg, net total $9 trillion in the last 8 months.
I'll have to look specifically at that Bloomberg article. I have not, I don't know if I have actually seen that particular one.
That's not the point. The question is, have you done any investigation or auditing of off-balance sheet transactions conducted by the Federal Reserve?
At this point, we're conducting our lending facility project at a fairly high level and have not gotten to a specific level of detail to really be in a position to.
Oh, okay. Let me give you what's going on here. Okay. All right. Hey, honey, I want you to ask me a question. Ask me a question loud enough so everybody can hear it. Ask me this question: who won the Super Bowl last year, honey? Ask me a question.
Honey, who won the Super Bowl last year?
Well, I'm going to answer this question like this. They got a motorcycle racing, circuit over there called the TT Isle of Man. And the TT Isle of Man, there's this guy by the name of John McGinnis that, he rides on these open roads, and they close it up on highways and stuff. And he is one of the best TT Isle of Man racers that there has been, and he's still continuing to keep stacking up his winnings and his earnings over there. You'll be like, now wait a minute. Pastor, your wife just asked you who won the Super Bowl last year. I don't care what she asked me. I'm going to tell you what I want to tell you, and you're going to listen to it whether you like it or not. So you sit there in anticipation, and you just sit there and listen to what I got to say, and I don't care what question you ask me, I'm going to answer it the way I want to, and you only got so much time to ask, and then after that, I'm done. That's what's going on. That's what's going on right before your very eye. Listen now.
Respond to your question.
Have you conducted any investigation or auditing of the losses that the Federal Reserve has experienced on its lending since last September?
You know what? How many times have we heard this guy ask this question in this 5-minute, 24-second interview? How many times have we heard it? In other words, listen, I've asked this question. I can't tell you how many, and you have yet to answer it. And watch this, I guarantee it. I guarantee it before we even get there, before I push the button again. I guarantee it that she will not answer the question again. Watch.
We're still in the process of conducting that review until we actually...
You can't make this stuff up. You can't make it up. In other words, he has my investigation. Well, I'm going to tell you about my review. Anybody out there know the difference between a review and an investigation? You know, this stuff is about as comical as the religion of Christianity. I mean, it really truly is. And I don't mean to hurt many of you people's feelings out there, because Pastor Dow used to be a Christian, so therefore I know it very, very well. I'm asking you to do the same thing with that as we're doing with this right here. With a critical spirit, a critical eye, go back and check it out and see if not the 3 main pillars of Christianity are all liars. Christmas, Easter, and Sunday. See if this Bible talks like that anywhere in here for those of us that believe in the Messiah. No, you ain't gonna do it. You know why? Tradition. Tradition. It's tradition. It's a tradition. All right, we're almost done. Let me get finished this. I'm false, man.
Go out and gather the information. I'm not in a position to really respond to the specific question.
So are you telling me that nobody at the Federal Reserve is keeping track on a regular basis of the losses that it incurs on what is now a $2 trillion portfolio?
I don't know if you're telling me that you're mentioning that there's losses. I'm just saying that we're not, until we actually look at the program and have the information, we are not in a position to say whether there are losses or to respond in any other way to that.
Mr. Chairman, my time is up, but I have to tell you honestly, I am shocked to find out that nobody at the Federal Reserve, including the Inspector General, is keeping track of this.
And you better not keep no track either, because you know why? She's under a gag order. You know how many people these gangsters kill if you step out of line one time? No telling how many people are wearing concrete shoes. I tell you what, these stage players, these bootlickers, I'm telling you what, listen to me, America. Your country is gone. It's finished. It's dust in the wind and has been dust in the wind. And if you don't wake up and you don't understand what's taking place right now, you're not going to prepare yourself. Preserve yourself, because they don't care one thing about you. You need to preserve yourself. And you need to start listening to people who are informed to what's going on. First thing you do, you cut off mainstream news media. Get rid of that mess, that junk, and that garbage. Gold and silver is money and nothing else. This book contains the word of Yah, and it's the truth and nothing else. That's the truth. And that's the truth straight away. I hope you gotta listen to my words and education and learn something. You have just been schooled. Yes, you have. You have just been educated. You haven't been fooled and manipulated and trained in this video. I actually took almost 30 minutes of my time to inform you of the injustices that are going on in this perverted, sick,